Good morning.
Good morning and welcome to Espresso with Erin Sarit. Happy Flex Friday. Dang, girl, you almost broke the screen with those biceps.
Good morning, everyone. We're really excited to be with you here. Today, we're going to talk about overcoming adversity. And it's going to look like we're going to go through different scenarios of life, and these are some of the scenarios that we've seen in our Savage Sister community, and also just based on like what we're walking through in our own life. So buckle up, because today's going to be a wild ride. And
Buckle up, Buttercup.
And also, I must say, today it's warming up here up to like 56 degrees, which
It's basically summer.
after like living in a high of maybe 30 degrees for like 3 weeks, it's like, wow, I was wearing 3 layers and I was like, can we go to the beach? Womp womp. There's no beach near us right now.
Today I said when the temperature reaches the maximum height, I'm going to go sit outside just to say, suck it, winter.
Yeah, so I told you got 30
so Sarit
minutes.
looks at her phone. She goes, okay,
at 1 p.m.
1 p.m. it's going to reach the maximum high. I was like, perfect. I have an appointment at 1 with our porch.
Yeah, and then it's gonna get windy, and then it's going to drop again. Yeah, so enjoy it while you last. While it lasts.
Speaking of weather, I just want to send thoughts and good vibes and warm vibes to everybody who's up north, because I think you guys are going to reach some record low temperatures
This weekend?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like up New York and like northeast.
Well, good thing the Super Bowl is not happening in New England.
Yeah.
Because that definitely won't help the Seahawks. They don't train in that weather.
It's in San Fran, which I guess I would guess would be really nice.
Yeah. All right, so you're going to share something.
What was I going to share?
Well, some of the maneuvering that you've had to walk through.
Oh, yeah. So this morning, woke up totally fine, got up, brushed my teeth, made the pee-pee, got my coffee, did all the reading and all the things I do in the morning. Went to the gym, and warmed up, felt fine. And today we were going to deadlift. Today was deadlift day. And so I started warming up my deadlifts. And in this warm-up process, it occurred to me that little spot down here.
Oh, the rectus femoris.
Right here.
That looks really bad right now.
It's like where your glute and your hamstring.
It's the rectus femoris.
Like in the groin side.
Yeah, that's what. Alexa, volume down.
You just told all of their Alexas the volume down. Hold on. So this was feeling not 100%. So, okay, some things like you don't feel 100%, you can still like jam. You can still work through, whatever. So I kept warming up, put 95 on the bar. Okay, cool. It's all right. 135 on the bar. Questionable. Okay. Let me stretch out a little bit more. Let me do a little bit more warm up. Let me get things moving and grooving a little bit more. And then put 165. Oh, no, 155. I was like, man, it doesn't feel good. I did 12 reps and I was like, okay. But as I was changing the weights, even I could feel it. As I bent over to change the weights, I just felt it was like a pull feeling, but also an instability, or like almost as if I stretch more or if I do too much, it's going to absolutely just lock and then be terrible. And I definitely didn't want to reach that point. So I was like, I want to stay healthy. What's most important to me right now is that I walk out of the gym knowing that I'm going to wake up tomorrow feeling all right. And is a little bit of a bummer at first. For one, I didn't have a plan B. I was like, I'm deadlifting today and I'm doing, basically lower body pulling, posterior, like hamstring glute workout. So that kind of went into the shitter. And not in the shitter. Let's say it went into the
Latrine.
postpone center. And yeah, so I kind of was there for a little bit, just stretching and thinking, okay, well, what am I going to do now? Because I'm at the gym, I'm doing something, I'm here. And it was this conversation, this back and forth conversation in my mind of, this sucks, woe is me, what am I going to do now? Not going to get a good workout, like the little bitch voice running its mouth.
Of course.
And then the other side of me that's like, okay, this is perfect. For some reason, I'm not meant to do deadlifts today, and that's okay. It's one day. Like, it's one day. It ain't that serious.
Yeah.
Chill. You'll be fine. Like, even if you stretched today, like, your intention is, you're here and you're moving your body. My plan was this. The plan is not happening, but what can I still do to fulfill my intention? And, even since we got back from the gym, I've still been in this conversation with myself, and I'm fully aware that I'm in the conversation. I'm fully aware there's two sides of me. There's an angel and a devil. And I do wholeheartedly believe that however today happened is perfect. I did end up doing some back hyperextensions, or whatever it's called, back extensions,
Hyperextensions.
because I was like, okay, just because deadlifts don't feel great doesn't mean all hamstring activities don't feel great, because you have different parts of your hamstring. So I was asking myself, how can I? It was basically the standing up part, like the hinge to stand, that wasn't feeling great. So I was like, okay, well, can I do a lying? So I did back hyperextensions, which is great because I'm in a almost like a, what is that, prone position.
Mhm.
And I'm pulling my torso up and backwards instead of from a standing position. So I did do those, and I just did higher reps and lower weight because I was like, okay, I'm going to work this part of my body, even if it doesn't look as I planned. And then I did some lying hamstring curls just on a machine, which is a great thing about commercial gyms or Globo gyms. The machines really come in handy when you find yourself up against these walls or temporary limitations. And so I did do that. I did some ab stuff that I wasn't planning on doing because it felt fine, and I hadn't already worked that muscle group much this week. So I was going through, okay, what haven't I done? And I would have just done shoulders. If I were there by myself, I would have just transitioned and done straight presses and shoulders and all that. But I know we
Dude.
were planning on doing that tomorrow. So I was like,
Oh my gosh.
I want to do it with Sarit. So I'm going to figure out something else to do today, which is totally fine.
I wish you would have told me that, because I would have been like, yeah, go for it.
Well, yeah, I know you would have told me to go for it, but I'm saying I prefer to do it with you.
Mhm.
So it doesn't matter what that you would support it. I already know that. So anyways, and then I got on the treadmill and I was like, okay, well, maybe I can jog so that I can at least get my heart rate up some, like I would if I were doing deadlifts or some bigger compound type movements. And even running didn't feel good because the like forward stretch of my leg didn't feel great. So I put the treadmill on an incline. I was like, okay, what can I not do at home? I'm at the gym. I want to take advantage of some things that I can't do at home. I have a walking pad. I can walk. So I put the treadmill on a pretty steep incline, and I just was just taking really small steps like that.
Yeah.
And it started to feel better. So then I I jogged with similar small steps, and whatever. That's how today looked. I left the gym feeling like, what did I even do today? Even though I did definitely do some things, it was kind of that feeling of, this was not as hard as I thought it was going to be. Do you guys ever have that where you're like, oh my gosh, I think it needs to be intense for something to be effective, or I think it needs to be really hard or almost to failure for something to be effective? The problem is, what type of effective are we going for? Because yeah, I want my muscles to get bigger, but if I just work through the challenge that I was having with my hamstring, I said, fuck it, it needs to be hard. I'm going to just deadlift through it anyways. And then I can't, and then I really hurt something and I can't do that for 3 weeks. How effective really was I?
Mm-hmm.
So the effectiveness, or what I was going for, the effect that I was going for, shifted from muscle growth to longevity and sustainability.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm 100% at peace with that decision. Because over the years, I would say since I had back surgery in 2018, I've been very aware of my body and when things really don't feel good, in a way that if you push through, you're going to regret it. Well, I don't really have regrets because I do believe everything happens on purpose, but that where I would set myself back. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I will sacrifice one day of deadlifting happily to be able to do it healthy next week. So the next week, from now till next week, I'm going to focus on mobility, recovery of that part of my body. And then probably next week, I'll be totally fine.
Yeah.
And that's a win.
Yeah, I want to talk about, so this is another element to discipline that I feel like, because discipline requires resilience and grit. It's a lot of breaking through, right? Which requires persistence. Now, discipline comes in multiple versions. So the reason why I wanted to share this is because grace requires discipline. You know what I mean? And true discipline is you made a post about this in Savage Sisters, I think, a week ago. It's like a dance, right?
Sometimes I push, sometimes I flow.
Yeah, because discipline requires a lot of repetition. For the most part, it requires this, like, alpha forceful energy. And there come points in life where, like, discipline is the dance to be graceful.
Discipline can mean not doing something.
Yeah, no, I feel like something that like definitely a learning opportunity for a lot of disciplined people is to find discipline and grace. Any world-class athletes, I definitely see this in Savage Sisters. I know Clarissa is walking through a season like that right now. Mel Sec to some degree, Anna Yoder to some degree. And I've
a
seen
lot.
Yeah.
Jennifer McCall, Leah.
Yeah, it's having the discipline to have grace on yourself. And the first thing that I want to share is grace does not mean being soft. Okay. I feel like this is where it's very misunderstood. And that's why a lot of disciplined people are like, F grace, like go hard, like all in, right? And yes, all in in intention. All in doesn't mean all in force all day, every single day. Michelle Foles said it beautifully. I mean, Michelle, like, you're like, you used to be a competitive gymnast. So, I mean, gymnastics, they're all about discipline. They go really hard, right? Probably one of,
read that.
And she said, too many injuries have forced me to listen to my body, right? So it's like there comes a point in time where forcing more of doing the same just doesn't work. And I believe there's a lot of great importance in grace, because while it is not be soft on yourself, you are enough.
Justify everything.
Therefore, sit on the couch and all day and eat chocolate. And please, by all means, I'm not saying you're not, you are more than enough. And this is why you deserve more, right? So, grace is not, oh, I'm going to have grace with myself, so I'm just going to Uber Eats McDonald's. No. Grace is, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to be in my intention. And even though, like my norm is to go hard, to there's a comfort zone of feeling accomplished, right? Because there's a standard that you've already set, right? So when there is a standard that you've been setting and you've been meeting, and now your circumstances require you to stay in your intention and shift how you do it, it is a little bit uncomfortable. And
as Sarit is saying these things, I want you guys to pay attention to the difference between intention and mechanics.
Yeah. And
intention is your overall end purpose. It can be long-term, it can be short-term, like my purpose for today's workout was. And then the mechanics are the little action steps that get you to meet that intention.
Yeah.
So the mechanics can shift and look different, but do you maintain your intention?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people too who are used to be an athlete and now they're looking to find a better path that requires discipline, because that is really the only answer. A lot of times they get discouraged and quit, and the break point is in the fact that they created a certain point of view with regards to how it should be, right?
Like a mechanic expectation.
Yeah, a mechanic expectation. And if that is not met, so let's say,
like, this is what it's supposed to look like, and if it doesn't, then I can't do it.
Yeah. It's like, like, let's use the context of the 6-week peak physique. It's like, start it and then a couple of weeks later get an injury, or shit,
get
sick and things don't go according to plan. Okay, then going back to the old way. This is when people like literally stall and shit on themselves.
This is actually why the 6-week, this is why any part of the peak physique is not included in the Savage Sister membership. Because if we just had it open for you to just do at your own pace whenever you want to do it, there's no urgency to actually follow through with the entire 6 weeks. If you start on this day and then you lose access on this day, you have incentive to continue to follow through, to stay in the game.
Yeah.
Versus like some people would be on week 3 and they get sick. They'd be like, okay, well, I'll just start again, maybe like in 2 weeks.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way.
No, that's not how life goes. You don't just get to stop going to work because you don't feel like, sure, you could, but you don't want the consequence. There's also consequences to not following through with your intention just because the mechanics look different. There's consequences to that. They're not as immediate as some other things, so you don't feel them right away, so it's easier to quit. Sorry, I took over that, but
yeah,
I think relating it to work, like if you just stopped going to work for 2 weeks because you didn't feel like it, or you got sick, or, well, sometimes that does happen. I think sick maybe is not a great example, but I don't know, you don't feel like it. Someone hurt your feelings, you had a bad day, whatever else, and you just stopped going to work for 2 weeks. Well, you're probably going to get fired.
Yeah, there is always a consequence, and this is why we lead with intention. And in moments like that, when life happens for us, we stay disciplined by being graceful at the same time. I'll tell you. So like when you build a certain level of intensity with your discipline, I'm just sharing that from my own experience. Grace requires a lot of intentionality because it's not second nature, right? So it requires self-awareness, because the repetition and the persistence like creates a certain comfort zone. You know what I mean? So like for those of you guys who are here with us live, I'm curious to know, what were some of the things where maybe a couple of weeks or a couple of months ago were hard for you and all of a sudden it became your new comfort zone?
Water.
You know what I mean? So for example, if you've been like active in the group, you would have also seen that this week we fully transitioned the gym environment that we work out at. And the truth be told, I stalled on probably, I don't, in life, there's no should haves, there's no regrets, at least not from my own point of view. Everything is a lesson. And knowing what I know now, I know that I carried on and I tolerated negativity for probably 4 months longer than it served me. And why did I do that? I did that because there was a comfort zone in my training. Training in a specific way, in a specific environment. We become comfortable with what we're most familiarized with, right? So for me, the thought of like, I mean, when was the last time that the only gym setting that I had was a global gym setting? I'm not talking like a CrossFit setting and then a global gym setting. It was probably like 20 years ago.
You're talking about like there were no other like type of gym?
At least not in my life. Not in my life. I will tell you that that gym setting mechanism, I didn't have since I was like 21 years old. And maybe now that I'm sharing this with you and I'm analyzing myself, I'm like, maybe the reason why I had the resistance to break away, even though I knew that the environment that I was in, I did not tolerate, is because when I used to work out at global gyms only, that was before I found the way, right? So it was the older version of me that I wanted to run away from. So maybe subconsciously that was a reason why I've tolerated certain things for a longer period of time. But I'll tell you, like, for me, the thought of, okay, so like your workout mechanics are going to look different for the next couple of weeks. Like, I was literally preparing myself for a couple of weeks leading up to that. I'm like, okay, like, just weighing out the pros and cons. Of course, the pros were much greater than the cons, and that's why it was a logical decision. And it was still uncomfortable because of that, because I was so used to like call it like the functional gym, like just setup. And I no longer had that. And I'll tell you, having been in this new setup Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday for 5 days now, I'm like, in a perfect world, would I also want like a functional training area? Yes, I definitely would. And for the time being, which is the next 6 weeks, like, is that like, does that work for me? Yes, it more than does.
With a nice rower and an assault bike
And a skier
and a GHD.
Yeah, there are a couple things I'm like, man, I would really love to have that here.
Same.
So, not ideal. The pros outweigh the cons. And I'm like, you know what? It's really like, though it took me outside of my comfort zone. I'm like, it's really wild how it's like, it's really not like as monstrous as I made it seem. Like, oh my God, I haven't trained
It ain't that serious.
since that was like 21 years old, right? So like 15 years, like the which was the consistent high of my trajectory was in a different setting. So I'm like, what's going to happen? I'm like, it's great. It's great. I'm actually really enjoying it because I get a lot of stimulus in a way that I did not have for a really long time. Right. So
I feel like
going
my
back,
motto recently has been like, it ain't that serious.
yeah,
It ain't that
yeah,
serious. It
yeah,
ain't as big as you're making it.
yeah, always, always.
Who cares?
So, discipline does require to have grace at certain points in time. I do believe that when grace is the foundation of discipline, it's like, it's going to be really hard to break through. Like, just being honest.
But grace is different than settling or justifying.
I know, but what I'm saying is
When
grace is an element, grace is not the foundation. I would say the foundation is persistence. Grace is another element.
This is a whole nother topic of conversation.
We're getting super philosophical right now.
The foundations of like anything you want to achieve would be, first of all, you have to really know what you want exactly what you want.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to have a wicked desire to fulfill that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yes, persistence.
That's what creates consistency.
And environment,
Mm-hmm.
like what's around you and who's around you needs to support that. And they need to know about that. And then you need accountability for that. And yeah, there's so many things.
Yeah.
But grace is something that, like you said, it's like a side dish.
Side dish.
It's a
good way to put it.
component, like it makes the meal a nice full meal, but it's not the main course.
It's not the chicken.
Because you don't feed on it the majority of the time.
Mm-hmm.
You take a piece when you need it.
Yeah.
Right? It's like a piece of bread with spaghetti. I don't know why I chose those things, but it's like the spaghetti's like the main thing, and you can take a piece of bread and like wipe the sauce and then eat it. I don't know. I really don't know why I chose spaghetti.
Yeah. I'm like, bread with spaghetti. I find that so unnecessary.
Carbon Americans.
Yeah, it's an American
thing.
Come
on, back me up.
It's an American thing.
Yeah. It's a special kind of bread too. What is it? French bread? No. French bread with spaghetti with Italian.
With high fructose corn syrup.
What's happening with my hair?
Yeah, so you said it beautifully. Grace is a side dish that you get to pull out every once in a while.
Texas toast, thick kind. I don't know.
There's nothing to do with Italian and Texas toast. I don't even know what that means. So
sourdough.
So how do we implement? Some of the things that I've seen happen in the community this week. It's the adversity of that time of the month or around that time of the month, and the certain emotions that come up with it and the certain cravings that come up with it, and how do we harmonize the persistence and the grace. That's one. The other one is the grace to really just chuck it off when you feel like you ain't doing your best.
Grace needs to be like an IV drip where you can like turn it off easily. And then when you need some, you can control how much you get, and then you can turn it off when you're done with it again. Like it's like there's I don't know why I'm coming up with these analogies, but there's a lever that's like
the Texas toast spaghetti was by far.
I think my mom used to do sourdough bread with garlic toast. That's what it is. Old spaghetti factory.
You've been reading this book about breath.
Yeah.
Tell us some of your takeaways.
Yeah. I used to only wear these at night until...
Is that like now a part of your closet?
My closet? What do you mean?
Like you wear it all day, every day?
Well, here's my mission. It starts back when I was 15 or 16 years old, and I was skateboarding, and I was trying to do this trick. And really what happened is it was a disaster, and my skateboard hit me in the face and I broke my nose. Gushing blood. Not knowing what to do. My friend Alex, he was in his front driveway, and he just grabbed the hose and I just held it on. Like that's going to do anything. And just making it less red or something. I don't know. And then when you're 15, you don't know what to do. And just broke my nose. I had never had surgery. So we controlled the bleeding. Luckily, just like it was in the era of like you can run down the street to go play with your friends. So my parents were just down the street. And so he called them. They came. And I was getting in my mom's minivan, I remember. And the first thing I said is, am I going to need to have surgery? Because I was like scared. I had never had surgery before. I never broke any bones or anything. So then she's like, probably. Like it was fucking,
Your mom said,
like my skateboard went bah, and my nose was like rant, rant. And you can see that my cartilage is still like diagonal right here. Can you see it?
no, bring it close.
Stop. Oh, what if I have boogers? Okay, you have boogers too. Shut up. Anyways, I hope you're enjoying the story. I'll get to breathing in a second. Let's all take a breath. Okay, so ever since that incident, I've had a piece of cartilage. It's not a deviated septum. It's literally my cartilage is blocking the left side of my nose. So if I am not wearing this and I block the right side of my nose, you can already hear how limited it is. And I have this on. See the difference?
Everyone do nostril sit-ups.
Do you hear the difference?
Yeah.
That's the clear one.
Well, I know I got boogers.
You got boogers too? I told you. Don't you blow your snot rockets out here on the table?
I'm not
What are
a
you
sweet
trying to
even.
color your coffee with the Grinch? Okay, anyways. So ever since then, the left side of my nose is completely blocked. If I'm not wearing this, no air will come in and out of it. Zero. So I'm on a mission to open this side of my nose. I'm convinced I can. Don't tell me otherwise. And so I've been wearing these more often, like throughout the day. And I'll take it off in the shower and then I'll give it some time because I want to put some stuff on my face. You know, it kind of obstructs that.
That's how you know that Erin showered when she doesn't have the nose strip on.
Well, it's like very close to when I showered.
Yeah.
Because like yesterday, I took a shower, I took it off, I take the adhesive off, and then I put some stuff on my face, and then I wait a little bit because it won't stick. Okay, so I wait a little bit, but I can tell a difference in my breathing, and I don't like it. So, this book is by something Nelson. What's his name?
Do you want me to go get it?
No, I'll find it. But it's called Breathe. And he talks very much about how mouth breathing, I'll just sum it up in one sentence. Mouth breathing is absolutely detrimental and your lifespan will go down if you're consistently breathing through your mouth. The quality of oxygen that your body gets is subpar. The structure of your mouth and your nasal situation gets smaller. And so you actually get worse at breathing. And then mouth breathing begets more mouth breathing, and nose breathing begets more nose breathing. So the more you breathe through your nose on a regular basis, it actually can change the like roof of your mouth structure to bring it down so that you have more space in here. And he goes all the way back to when we were like cavemen and how our noses were like flat and
Like
wide.
monkeys. Yeah, like monkeys.
Flat and wide. And it allowed a lot of oxygen to come in. But as we started developing our brains and our brains got bigger, it pushed things down, which pushed our noses out. And it reduced the amount of space we have in here. So if you don't use it, you lose it. So if you don't use the capacity of this, you lose it. And air is literally life. Oxygen is life. If you don't have oxygen, you're dead. So the more oxygen and the better quality of oxygen you could get, the more you prolong your lifespan, the better you feel, your skin gets clearer, your energy gets better, your sleep gets better, everything gets better.
Everyone's breathing through their nose right now. Watch.
Good. And then that's where people are like, if I don't sleep well, or I have headaches or whatever else, start practicing breathing through your nose.
Is it any wonder why people who have sleep apnea also have chronic disease?
Do you know what sleep?
It's like which came first, the chicken or the egg?
He talks about sleep apnea and snoring. Snoring is not normal. Snoring is you choking on your tongue while you are mouth breathing and trying to sleep. Legit. You are choking on. So that was one of the other things he talks about is how our tongues have actually moved back into further back into our throats, and our
esophagus,
yes, has moved down. And so it takes a longer amount of time then for the oxygen and everything to come down into here, and just makes it harder. So if you're not breathing through your nose, then you continue to have a harder time breathing through your nose.
Mm-hmm.
And so it just kind of like, it's a thing that makes it just get worse and worse. It's like an object at rest wants to stay at rest. Or it's like, if you don't use range of motion in your body, you lose it. Why can Asians squat so freaking low? Because their culture is used to being down in that position.
Yeah, they're literally in the field squatting. I'm like, no wonder you're
at 80 years
no
old.
wonder you're waiting on the bus in a squat. Meanwhile, I'm like on
Some
the
people can't
February
even touch their
Flexi
toes.
challenge in 2 minutes in the bottom of a squat. I'm like, all right, I'm ready to be done.
Like, you should be comfortable in the bottom of a squat. We should be comfortable breathing through our noses. Yesterday, interesting. I'll show you something very cool that I found out. I have a whoop. And I often look at my heart rate zones for my workouts. And it's really hard to get to zone 4, zone 5, especially zone 5. Like, it's intense, maybe intervals or something. And I know that when I get into zone 5, it's usually only for a couple of minutes. And it's when I feel like the workout is stealing my soul. That's what I told you yesterday. Mm-hmm. Which is true. It's like, I feel like I am blacked out, putting as much effort as I possibly can into something, and I will reach zone 5. So if you don't know where I'm looking for the workout. Okay. No. Is this today? Yeah. Okay. Yesterday. I'm going to show you these metrics.
Wow. Your strain was 19.5. That's fucking insane.
Mm-hmm. So yesterday I did a test on myself, and I ran 2 miles with my mouth closed. Try it. I was running for the first mile. I was on a treadmill, which is different than the road. And I was running at a 10:30 or 10 minute 40-second pace per mile, which for me is pretty slow. Or I'd say maintainable for a very long time.
Like, that would be your marathon pace.
Yeah, probably 10 to 11 minutes, like a marathon pace. And I was like, I've never done this before, so I don't want to hyperventilate myself. I'm going to start slow. So I did. And also, I think I was at like a 3 incline, because I don't like running flat. I feel like having a small incline just feels better on my joints. Anyways, beside the point. I ran the whole first mile, and I felt pretty chill. If I were to say difficulty on a scale of 1 to 10, it was probably a 5. So for the second mile, I said, okay, I'll just bump it up a couple notches. Like, I feel pretty good.
Like, you turned on the incline even more?
No, not the incline, the speed.
Oh, gotcha.
Because I was like, I want to challenge myself. The point is to kind of see what I'm capable of with my nose right now. And so I ended up in that last mile bumping up the speed to like 10-minute mile. And then I was at like a 9 something. And then for the last quarter mile, I put it to like a 7.5-minute mile. I was running a 7.5-minute mile for, imagine, like maybe 1 lap or maybe a little more than 1 lap around the track. And by the time I got done, I felt like on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 is like I'm doing a freaking high rocks race and dying. I was probably at like an 8 to an 8.5 at the very end when I was running at like a 7 to 7.5 minute mile pace. And then I brought the speed down and I just walked. I let my heart rate come back down, still breathing through my nose only this entire time. And I felt like I could have run longer. I just didn't feel like it because running gets really freaking boring for me. And I think I only made it 2 miles because I was very focused on my breathing.
Yeah.
And I was just like really trying to get the air in and out.
Mhm.
I was at heart rate zone 5 for
Is
6.5 minutes.
Is this the longest you've ever? I think that's the longest you've ever been in zone 5, right?
No, I don't think so. But for 6.5 minutes, in zone 4 for 10 minutes. I didn't even have to kill myself. And do you know what getting into so zone 5 says 180 beats per minute plus. For 6.5 minutes, I maintained that through nose breathing without feeling like I was killing myself. That is extraordinary. And getting up into those high heart rate zones increases your VO2 max, which also is tied to longevity and health. And the last thing I'll say, you opened this can of worms, so I'm just going on a tangent.
Well, I feel like you guys would benefit from hearing this.
Yeah, I recommend everybody read this book. I can drop a link in Savage Sisters. Lung capacity, I'm still reading it too, so I'm sure I'll have more to share with you later. But lung capacity and lung size is directly correlated with capacity. And the greater capacity you have for oxygen, the greater your longevity and health. So when you're forcing yourself to breathe, inhale and exhale through your nose, I think exhaling, I haven't figured this part out, but I think exhaling through the mouth is different than inhaling through the mouth. Anyways.
Yeah, I could see that. Well, it has a completely different purpose.
Right. When you inhale oxygen and carbon dioxide. When you exhale, your body sends the oxygen down to your body and into your brain, and it exhales the carbon dioxide.
Mhm.
The carbon dioxide is food for plants and trees and all of that. They inhale and exhale the opposite.
We should
Trees
probably
and
breathe
plants.
more on this plant right now.
What?
We should probably breathe more.
So plants then, they inhale oxygen and carbon dioxide, and they exhale oxygen. So their expiration, it fuels us,
Mm-hmm.
and our expiration fuels them.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful.
Wow, you do so well teaching second grade biology. What's it called? The one oxygen cycle, I think.
I don't know.
So cute.
Anyways.
I remember when we heard Gary Brecka once speak. He started his conversation with, "What is the number one reason? What is the number one killer in America?" And people were like,
heart disease,
diabetes. It's like, no, keep going. They're like, cancer. No, keep going. Stroke. No, keep going. Hypoxia.
which means not enough oxygen.
Not enough oxygen, right? So I remember when Boogie was declining, the first thing they did is they gave him oxygen, right?
That's why when you go in an ambulance, the first thing that they do is like give you oxygen.
Yeah. So, oxygen, it's life. Our bodies, and that all depends on how much body fat we have based on the state of most Americans, because 70% of Americans are overweight. We can go months without food if you're overweight. Obviously, if you're lean, probably like maybe a couple of days to a week or so. Water, we can go up to a couple of days.
But what is water? H2O.
Yeah.
Hydrogen and oxygen.
And oxygen is 8 minutes. 8 minutes, right? So, just It's definitely an enhancer of life, and I would, depending on where you're at on the s- um, sickness, health, wellness curve, I would encourage you to consider um, like really paying attention to this. Like, obviously, if you're on the health side, in order to move your markers from a performance standpoint in terms of fitness, like breathing better will, that alone will increase your performance, right? And if you're currently at a point where, you're pre-diagnosed or diagnosed with, some of the biomarkers for chronic disease, then you're on the sickness side of the equation. Hate to break it to you, it's just the truth. My encouragement to you is become conscious of your breathing, because you'll move closer to health with that. Okay. So yeah, it's huge.
The other thing, he went into talking about, I see you.
What? Oh, I didn't even think about it.
He goes into talking about there's also different techniques to breathing. Like you can actually, so one of the things he talks about is when you breathing through the left or the right side of your nostril is actually stimulates the left side of your brain, which I believe is more like logic based thinking, logic, critical thinking side of your brain. And also it activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which is fight or flight. The left side of your nostril, breathing in and out of, stimulates and activates the right side of your brain, which is more creativity, imagination, vision, things like that. And also activates your sympathetic nervous system, which is rest and digest. I started looking at my life and being like, oh my God, the left side of my nose hasn't worked for how many years?
Mhm.
Like I'm almost 39, so 15 years plus, 20 years.
Yeah.
And I'm like, maybe that's why I've become more analytical. Anyways, beside the point, there was a study that they did on a woman who she couldn't breathe through the right side of her nose, and she was hallucinating, and she was schizophrenic. But she wasn't really. She just had way too much stimulus in the creative imaginative
That's
part of her
wild.
brain that she was hallucinating. She was seeing things that weren't there. Her imagination was on like hyperactive. And so when they got her breathing through both sides of her nose and doing the exercises where you actually can plug one side of your nose and like you do repetitions through one side of your nose to stimulate what you want. So even with eating, you can breathe through one side of your nose to activate like digestion and
So cool.
like it's super fascinating. So anyways, I'm only on like chapter 4, so
Yeah.
that's what you get from 3.5 chapters.
Yeah. So all that to say, breathing makes a difference, and oxygen is life.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to talk about today, ma'am? I've been on a huge kick of, shifting my environment, the power of environment on everything that we do.
What are they gonna see in like 6, 7, 8 weeks?
Oh.
So he's like, I'm getting a makeover.
Yep. Yeah, I'm just,
You're gonna enter a beauty pageant?
no,
No.
I'm not that kind of girl. Come on. Like, yes, I mean, I'm going for a makeover. I'm ready
I'm gonna get
for
my herded.
a new life, a new identity. Boogie's passing made us reassess a lot about our lives, and, just what works, what doesn't work, and we're going to a new place. And I am going to, like, as a symbol of for myself, I'm like, you're a different person, right? So, like, we've been shedding many, many layers over the last couple of months. And I think that, like us being in a new atmosphere with, I would just say, a completely different value system for the most part. And yeah, like I'm ready. I'm ready for a new era.
I'm ready.
Yeah, it's gonna look. I feel like it's gonna look like a way more feminine version of me. And jacked. It's gonna confuse so many people. It's gonna be great.
This is what they call a sexy beast.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, I feel like we all I think it's good to it's healthy to keep things fresh. This morning I was thinking, I'm like, maybe I'm just gonna bring with me 2 shorts, 2 pants, 2 shirts.
And then
That way I have, like, literally, like, I cannot be in my comfort zone, right? Because my comfort zone is
Are you gonna
the
get more
clo-
clothes when we go or what? Oh, those
it's gonna force me
the
to.
fashion on
So,
that side
but
of the world,
but
though,
what I was thinking is,
is nice.
I love my Lululemons to work out in, like, and gotta represent the ES Army, of course. But I'm like, yeah, I think I'm gonna shed a lot of layers. So
I'm gonna get tan again.
yeah,
Look at
we're
that
both gonna
white
be tan.
skin.
I know, like, it's like the white on the shirt is as white as my skin. What happened?
I think some of those northern state people would disagree.
Erin may go with those colored braids. Please no.
Not colored. Listen, I do what I want.
I know
Maybe
you
I'll
do it.
shave my head.
Do whatever you want.
Maybe I'll Dennis Rodman it. I'll shave my head and get a leopard
Oh
cheetah
my
print.
gosh. I really hope you don't.
I did one time think about shaving.
I know, I remember you asked me.
Yeah. Actually, Laura Hanrahan shared a picture of us from our live event, I think in 2022 or
I
something
saw
like
that.
that. 2021. And I had the blonde ones, which those were my favorite. I'm pretty sure those were my favorite.
Okay,
The
so
blonde
question for
braids
you
were
guys. The
legit.
question for you guys.
Those were so
and then
fun.
and then we get to wrap this
Because
up.
my hair is brown, so it kind of was like a what do they call it? An ombre, where it went from like brown to blonde. It was super cool. Anyways,
So question for you guys. I'm curious, and I know that you're not even gonna care. Erin, what's your preference? Erin with braids, Erin with no braids. Can I tell you why
you
I
told me you like to run your fingers through my hair.
no, it's not that. That's not the reason
Well,
why.
I was going to say
dove
yes
deep.
because you don't do it
I don't. Really?
like that.
I give you a hair massage.
Yeah, it's like that.
Well, I don't have nails like yours.
Well, it's your fingers. This is your fingers. Okay, tell me.
Well,
Erin with braids is badass.
it is badass, and
People always ask me if I fight.
exactly. So it brings, like, it, and there's nothing wrong with that.
It's
And
gangster.
what my experience is that when you're with braids, it brings out a very masculine side of you. And
Gangster.
I really love, you know,
Okay, and if I had those braids and I was wearing a mini skirt and a crop top, would it still? And high heels, would it still?
I don't know. You've never done
Maybe
it.
let's try. I don't think actually in Israel there are people who could do the braids like that, I'm sure.
Mel Sex said that she wants to see you with side ponytails. All right, next espresso. We're
Like
gonna
2
be
of them?
with ponytails.
Oh my god, yes. Britney Spears.
Let's do it. Let's do it on the next one. Yeah, you too. So funny.
I've had so many different hairstyles.
Life is so funny.
I've had short hair, like really short hair, like
Yeah.
pixie short.
Yeah,
And then
like-
I've had like, what's it called? An A-frame, the bob that's like short in the back, longer in the front. And then I've had
Imagine running
dreadlocks.
through that. It's like this when you run with
Do
it.
you know?
No,
Have you
I
had
don't.
it?
No,
Okay.
I don't. I prefer longer hair for myself.
I've had dreadlocks. I've had braids. I've had really long hair. I've had had the blonde all in the front. I think that's my favorite.
That was my mom's favorite too, by the way.
Your mom told me it looked like poop.
No.
When I went
So
to the guy who fucked up my hair.
No. So
she was like, no, don't do
last week we were looking at photos of yours, and
she told me don't do that.
And she saw when you had your money piece, and she said, Erin looks really pretty with her hair like that.
And she told me she didn't like it.
Well, I mean, Jewish moms, it's never enough for them.
It's still here. Look at it.
And you wonder why I have a complex?
It's just way up here. This is from when I had it here. But look at how much it's grown out. It's not even anywhere to be seen.
So she
but I think I want to get that again.
So she said, she looks really pretty like that.
I look really pretty no matter how.
I said, I know. She said, right now, she doesn't look like that.
She doesn't look pretty.
I'm like, what do you mean, Mom? Like, she's not pretty. She said, no, it's not that. She's like, she just looks better with her hair blonde. I'm like, you know what? I agree.
You know what, though? Ultimately, it's called preference.
None of that matters.
It's called preference. Matters. Somebody's gonna here's a life, I don't know, thing to understand. No matter what you do, some people will like it and some people will not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you like it? I'll get braids if I like them.
That's why we have massive.
I'll shave my head if I like it. Yeah. I'll color the front of I like it.
That's why.
I'll get my nails done any color I want. I don't care what Sarit's mom says. I don't like that color. I don't care.
Yeah, I know.
I like that color. And guess what? I'm the one who sees it every day.
Yeah, that's why we have massive respect for Lady Gaga and Miley Cyrus. That woman just legit put a laundry basket on her head.
No, it's not that I have massive respect for the person. I have massive respect for the action of authenticity.
Yeah, that.
Period. Because everybody's going to have shit to say.
I know, babe. I wasn't, my intention in saying that wasn't to like trigger anything.
I'm not triggered.
Okay, all right.
I'm just getting passionate for you to do what you dang well please if you love it for you.
Well, you have some action steps, ma'am. A book link, a montage of all of your hairstyles. Oh, and when you see that montage, I'm curious to know which one is your favorite.
Oh, I'm gonna need to go through the archive and collect some photos. If you guys seen one of the before photos of me in the mirror where my face is weird, that was one of them.
And like your hair was curly?
No.
Your hair is like
Oh, that's when I was like wicked fat. I didn't even want a whole picture of my body. That's why this is all you get. That's enough to fill the picture. Anyways,
life is funny. Life is too short to not be happy. So,
or experiment with yourself, or have fun, or just. Also, when I cut all my hair off, my cousin didn't like it. Johnny, I lived with. He's like, I like you better with long hair. I was like,
I know.
You don't have to live my life.
You know what it is? I think it's because, and that's just my opinion, you're a really beautiful woman, and when your hair is short, it changes your demeanor.
This is your perspective.
That's my perspective, 1000%. And I hope,
however, here's the lesson
that it stays long.
Here's the lesson. I like my hair longer.
Okay, good.
Like extra long, like extension braids.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, the first time I cut all my hair off, I said, I was a little bit scared. And this is where like, well, what do you have to really be afraid of? It's hair. I'm grateful to have it. And it grows back. So it's like anything you want to try for yourself, if you've been like, oh, I want to try this or I want to try that, and you haven't because whatever, you can always change your mind again. You can always change your mind again.
All right. So next week, side ponytails. Gotcha.
Also with my nails, I tried different types of gel. I tried the dip. I tried the whatever. And then the build. And every time I was like, oh, I don't know. What if it's not as good as the last thing? Well, how am I supposed to know if I don't try? You can always change your mind again. So just go for it. It ain't that serious.
It's such a full circle moment, like going back to like how like we make things so much harder than they have to be.
It ain't that
because like
serious.
for 4 months, I'm like, oh my God, am I gonna change the gym? Like freaking out about it. I'm like, it's really not that serious, right? And then it's like, how many times do we make life so much harder than it has to be? So all that to say, deep breath in, deep breath out. Namaste. Peace out. Love you guys. Bye.